Hey guys, it's your girl Lady B, and you're tuned in to KTTV and Treats. Y'all already know the drill. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell so you know when my next video is dropping. And as always, please give the video a thumbs up. Now, I was a little torn if I was going to do this video. I was all down for the bullying video. But the autism video, I wasn't too sure about because I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough content to do the video. But I had to sit and think about different things in me. And it made me go ahead and be like, you know what? Go ahead and do that video. Especially after just watching Pam do her video with her nephew and her sister and, everyone in her family talking about it. So I felt it was needed for me to go ahead and do the video. Now, I do have some close friends that have autistic children. And it's not something we sit and really talk about a lot, but we have had conversations. Now, I met one of my friends almost about 10 years ago, and her son at the time, I want to say he was about 8 or 9, maybe 10, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, about 10, because he's like 21 now, 10 or 11, when we met. And she was explaining to me that he's autistic, but he's not really as different as most people think. Like, he talks, he does different things, but I think his level of autism, he doesn't really like to be touched. Like, you can't really touch him. It's certain people that can touch him. You have to touch him a certain way, or he freaks out. And I get it. I understand. And it's different levels of autism. Some children can't talk. Some children have a thing with touch. Now, it's different levels of it. And it's like, okay, his was that. But then on the flip side, I'm sorry guys, my lips feel really, really dry. On the flip side of everything, he's so talented. When I say this boy is so talented, ignore me. I feel, I think his mother does as well, because she invests so much into it. He can be a great artist. Now, I don't know about the living alone thing yet or anything like that, because I know she was saying at one point she was nervous about that and him getting older, and the school districts were doing different things and taking certain, what was it like? They were taking certain things out of the schools for the special needs children. They didn't have the correct care to even prepare them to live alone and different things like that. But I think he's at a stage now, because he's about 21, 22, if I'm not mistaken. He might be a little bit older than that. But this would be about that age he would be trying to move out on his own and different things like that. Because he does speak, he does do different things. He has not, as far as I know, grown out of the touch thing. It's still one of those things. He's getting better at it. They were taking him different, they have like therapists and stuff for stuff like that. So he was going to that, but his outlet is drawing. And when I say he draws so well, I really was trying to find her, like, her page on Facebook is not up anymore. She deactivates it a lot and different things like that. So I couldn't get any of his paintings. I really wanted to show some of his work on here and show you guys how talented this boy is, because he is amazing. Like, so amazing. And it's like, you never know. They say autistic children usually are more talented in one area than another when they have autism. And his talent just happens to be art, and he's so good at it. And sure, in 1 second, baby, I got you. And it makes me so proud of him, because it's like, he's been through so much as a kid. He didn't have the upbringing like a normal child would. They tried to keep it as normal as possible, but it was still battles he had to deal with of his own. And for him to have an outlet like drawing and to be talented in it, and for it to be beautiful artwork that he's creating, is amazing to me. Amazing. Then I had to sit and think about my own life and the people that are around me that autism does affect. Because I was sitting like, I don't think I have anybody in my family or anything like that. And I sat and was like, you know what? Yeah, you're so wrong, and that's a lie. My baby cousin has not. Yes, he has. He's been diagnosed with it. It's his mother doesn't want to believe it. And we've seen the signs because we have other autistic children in our family. But we know the signs like early on when there's something going to be wrong. Now, the baby had a rough beginning of life anyway. He was a child of drugs early, which affected him in so many ways. And like my son and my cousin's 2 kids, because it's not one, it's 2, but different women. They are, one is a month ahead of my child. No, a month behind my child, and the other is like 2 to 3 months before my child. And I'm talking about Trey when I say that. Now, neither one of them are on the same levels that Trey is on as far as physically, mentally, emotionally, any of that. Like Trey, as y'all see, Trey's walking, he talks, he forming sentences now. He's starting to form sentences. He knows how to say things. He responds to things. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to do certain things. I can't say the same for my cousins. Literally, the one that's a month behind him, I think just started walking. No, that's the one that's 2 to 3 months above him. He just started walking not too long ago, and he's not really fully walking. He has to walk and hold on to something and do different things like that. And he's a good 2.5, if not 3. I want to say he's only about 2-3 months above my baby, but it's one that's a couple of months above him, and it's a couple months behind him, and I believe it's another one that's like a year. But they're all products of like drug addicted mothers, so it affected all of them in different ways. He has a thing with touch. One of them has a serious thing with touch as well, but his is really, really bad. Like, he wouldn't open his hands for months. Would lock his hands in the ball and wouldn't open his hands up. Not to play with rattles, anything. He wouldn't play with rattles and stuff. Do y'all see this little boy with his basketball hoop, y'all? Like, he wouldn't play with rattles and stuff because he didn't like the feel of them in his hand. Like, that would, him touching stuff. Like I said, my friend's son has a thing with people touching him, but my cousin has a thing with certain things touching his hands. He doesn't touch certain things. Yes, baby.
When I was in the bathroom, Ryan let Trey open soy sauce.
Clean that up. Put something on your feet, and you'll be fine. Okay.
Okay. Get something to drink.
Yes, y'all. I will get something to drink in 1 second. Now, he wouldn't touch surfaces. He wouldn't play with rattles. He couldn't even hold his own bottle until just recently. He was confined to like a car seat for so long. He didn't know what to do. They didn't think he was gonna walk. They said he might never talk. They don't know. They're trying to, like, we're taking him to speech therapists, and he's starting to defy the odds. And like I told my aunt, which is the one that gives me most of the information on what's going on with him, because this is her grandchild, no one has the last say on what these babies will do. No one has the last say, and she works with them so much because they're her grandchildren. They're her grandsons. They're both her grandsons, and she worked with both of them on trying to open their hands and do different things. At one point, the baby wasn't responding to, we didn't know if he was like deaf or it just didn't like sound or anything, because he wouldn't respond to it. He wouldn't pay, like, you know how you do the finger for the kids, or you mess with certain things. He wouldn't respond. He just would sit there. They were diagnosing it as that, but his mom didn't want to believe it. And I mean, I can understand as a mother, you might want to be in denial about it, but when you catch it and you catch it early, you can do certain things about it. And it was like, don't be in denial about what's going on with your child, because he already has other problems due to what you were doing while you were pregnant. So why, if we're catching this early, won't you accept it and let's move on and let's do what we need to do for him? But they're both starting. They both weren't walking. They both were not walking at all. They're both starting to walk now. One's starting to pull up. One is actually starting to take steps, as long as he's holding on to something because he's nervous about falling because he doesn't want to touch anything. It's cute. I'm not laughing at the situation or anything. It's just cute because it's cute to see a child defying odds, and it's like, their little natch, and he's like, I don't want to touch it, so go hold on to this. I'm okay with this feeling right now, but don't put another feel in front of me because then it'll mess me up. So it's so cute to watch him take these little steps, but then try not to fall all at the same time because baby's still trying to get it together. It's just cute. It's cute to watch the other one start to pay attention to different sounds and different things, and finally open his hands to enough just to hold a rattle and shake a rattle and understand that this thing makes noise. It's like, even though they're 2 and above, they're adorable. I said okay. Okay. It's just cute to see them growing. Not even like they're big. The crazy part is they're both bigger than my son, because we still do hand-me-downs in my family. He gets their hand-me-downs. It's so funny, but neither one of them, like shoes and stuff like that, they weren't walking. So shoes are like brand new, different things when they come to us, pants and stuff, because they were still just laying on their tummies or just sitting there. It took them so long to sit up, hold a bottle, do different things. It's a lot. One mom took a different approach than the other. And I mean, everybody's going to have their different approach on what they're supposed to do with their child. But I just felt like if we're catching these things early, we can do something about it to help. We're starting to take them to speech therapists so they can try to communicate more with us. Or we talk to them so they can understand the lips and the different things. And this is how you form words. And it's a lot. It's a lot. But it helps, especially when it's something we already knew would probably be a problem before they were even born. We knew they were going to have difficulties. But they're just so happy. They're happy little babies. They are. And they're not even little babies anymore. They're big boys. They're really big boys. But they still are in like baby modes because they're still technically so far behind from where they should be. And that's what hurts my heart about it. That's the main thing that hurt. I think that's probably why I was like literally blocking this part out for the autism videos, because I try not to think about it. Like, I talk to my aunt about it when she comes sees me. We talk about it and different things like that. But it hurts because my son is the same age. And when they're all together, they can't even play together the way that they should as cousins. And he doesn't have that many cousins in his age frame. I'm sorry, guys. Like, me and my cousin was pregnant together. Me and her son are, like, her and my son are, like, 4 or 5 months apart. They play together. They're close, but they have other cousins that are all in the same age bracket. And for them to not be able to play like normal kids hurts. It hurts to see. Because, I mean, you don't think about those things, I guess, growing up. Because I had friends and stuff that was autistic. I had friends that had disorders and different things like that. But I didn't look at them any differently than any other person. Like, to this day, they're still really good friends of mine, and I don't look at them any differently. But then when you have, like I told you, like, I had an aunt that adopted a lot of disabled children and autistic children. So I dealt with that growing up my entire life, and I never looked at those kids any differently. But then to get older and have kids of your own, and then witness your family members having kids that have these problems, and having to physically watch these kids not be able to be kids. because of something like this, and have people look at them differently, and they're no different. They're no different than any other child. They're no different. We love them just the same. We love them even more because they're not they're special, but they are special to us because they've defied odds. Them just being here defied the odds for us because they weren't supposed to survive getting into this world. It's for them to be here and to be that old and to be doing little things. The littlest strides are so important. It's just, it hurts me because it's like, as much as I know my son is rough. I know my son is rough. Y'all see him. He's rough. And it scares me for him to be playing with his cousins, to try to play with his cousin, even though he's a sweetheart. He's loving. My son is so loving and caring and different things, and he tries to be gentle. He tries to be as gentle as possible because if he sees that you're not on his same level, like that's just him in his head, like shorter than me, okay, you're a baby. He looks at them as babies, and he like, hi, baby, hi. And I'm sitting there like, boy, that's your big cousin. He is older than you. Like, boy, them jeans you had on came from him. Like, that's your big cousin. Like, he's not a baby. He's a big boy like you. And then his other cousin, like, dude, y'all are a month apart. He's in December, you're in January. Like, are you serious? Talk about baby. He's not a baby. Like, they're not a baby. I know, your sister already told me. Like, he's not a baby, dude. But to him, in his head, they're babies because they're still in their car seats. And they can't do the things that he's doing. And they can't play how he's playing. Him and his cousin are playing. They're just there. They're there. We're still doing tummy times and different things and building up leg strength and trying to walk with them, and they're still learning. They're not drinking out of sippy cups and different things. One of them doesn't even eat like meats and stuff, like real solids. We have to give him like pureed foods because he has a thing where he'll just choke. He doesn't eat solid foods yet, and we don't know why. Like, he just won't eat it. He won't chew. That's the whole thing. He won't chew. So we're scared to try to feed and introduce new things so far that's not super soft. I said yes. Now calm down and go wait till I finish. Thank you. They're just, girl, go in your room and play with your sister because you're being annoying now. She does this all the time. She's such a craver sometimes. But I'm sorry I got all emotional, guys. I really didn't think I was gonna get all emotional and stuff with it. Get both of y'all go in your room. Kids. Did she throw it?
No.
Oh, go in the room and fix it. So yeah, it's like everything is different when it's a child that needs extra attention. But my whole main thing and the main reason to do this, and it took me to really watch Pam's video for me to sit and think, like, you know what, you have autistic children in your family. You just don't like to talk about it. And I don't, because I don't look at them as autistic. I've never labeled them as autistic, even though I know they are. I just look at them as kids. They're just my babies. So I guess that's why I just was like, my video wouldn't be long enough. I didn't even think to put it up because I'm only thinking of like my friends in high school and my coworkers' child, and then I had to really sit and think on that. Because I don't look at them any differently than anybody else in my family does. They're survivors. They survived a lot to get here, and then they were diagnosed with more things once they got here. We knew it was a possibility that they were going to have these problems before they were even born. We just didn't know to the extent of what problems they would have. And they have more than just their autism to worry about. Like, that's the least of their worries right at this moment. Day by day is a blessing for them. Being able to do little things that they were told they would never do because they're autistic, because they didn't have the right amount of brain function when they were born, or because they had to do certain things at birth. They can beat it. Autism isn't a curse. It's not a death sentence. It's just something else you have to deal with. When you have a supportive family, you can. I just want people to know they're not different. They're not. Don't look at them any differently. Mommy. Don't judge them for what Mommy. They can't do. Mommy. No, they don't even know. Their mom is. Mama. Boy, if you don't give me this purse. My purse. No, your purse. It's your sister's purse. They can't even do these things. They can't annoy their mom yet. And they need to be annoyed at this point in life. They can't annoy their mommy. They can't even say mommy. They can't tell you what's wrong. They can't say what they want. They don't even have the point thing yet down pat to point to what they want. But I just hate when people look at autistic children like they're monsters or something. Mommy. No, take this. No, don't want it. See how he do? This is what his cousins are supposed to be doing. And one day they will. One day I feel one day they will. They'll be there. No lip gloss for you. You can get some Vaseline for them lips, boy. Yeah. Mommy. Okay. Okay, we get you some water. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up now. I done got all emotional and shedded tears because I know, one, we've talked about bullying, and kids are cruel, and one day they're gonna have to go to school, and I just don't want them to be looked at differently from everybody else. I want them to be looked at the same way we look at them, as just kids, our kids. I want them to be treated just the same as anybody else would be treated at a school. I don't want them to have to feel like they're being bullied. I don't want them to feel like they're being stared at. I don't want them to feel like they're less than somebody else, because they're not. They're babies right now, but they have a whole life ahead of them. And this world is so cruel. It's terrible. So I made this video to say, when you see a child that might have something going on differently than you, an autistic child, a disabled child, anybody, a grown, young, middle age, anything, please don't stare. Don't judge. Don't laugh, make fun of any of that. First off, you never know who with them and which family member gonna get crunk with you. Cause I'm that family member you tried. You might have to you might catch these hands. I'm just saying. But that's a for real note. You never know who might be with them and how they feel about that type of stuff. Yes, we are used to the stairs, but sometimes you're at your breaking point. But then you also have to worry about when they get older, if they have run-ins with the police, because these children are not just autistic, they're still color. And if they can't tell the police what's wrong or where they're supposed to be at, their name or anything, things can go left. So we worry. These are not things I have to worry about right now. But I've read articles of autistic children in my city being shot and killed because the police didn't know how to deal with them. And their parents were just calling for help. It's not cool. So, please don't stare. Please don't point, don't laugh, don't joke. Don't make fun of children that are different. It's not right. They're still human. They have feelings. They're kids. Even if they're adults at this point, it's not right. Because at this point, if they're adults, you know. If you can see that something is a little bit different, don't stare at them and make them feel like they're less than. Because they're not. Be aware of the things that you do and how it can affect other people. Y'all know my motto. 2 up, Lady B out. Just wanted to share with you guys.